I'm in Summerland, BC at What the Fungus, and I've been here before. For those of you who don't know who Brian Callow is and What the Fungus is, you will after this video. I'm going to get Brian to introduce himself, but one thing I want to say right off the hop is Brian and I are going to host a little contest. If you buy one of his What the Fungus t-shirts on the link that's going to be in the show notes, we're going to enter you into a draw, and in 2 weeks from this video coming out, we're going to pull that name out of a hat, and that person will win an opportunity to come to one of Brian's mentorships for free and come to one of my workshops at various different locations for free. You'll have your choice. So whoever wins, I'll reach out to you and give you your choice of workshops to come to. Make sure that if you buy one of Brian's shirts, what you got to do is take a screenshot of the proof of purchase and then email that to Brian. His email will be in the show notes. And here's the kicker. Each t-shirt purchase will be another entry to the draw. All right, guys, let's get into it.
What the Fungus is a seasonal mushroom farm in Summerland, British Columbia. We are a really unique business that focuses on sustainability, but also unique seasonal crops that we market to chefs and to the farmers market. So we grow elm oyster mushrooms, pink oyster, pearl oyster, lion's mane, enoki, chestnut mushrooms, piapino. Pretty much I'm interested in anything unique, and then we try to figure out where it fits in my business. We grow in greenhouses, which means we don't actually heat or cool our grow rooms. We grow with the temperatures outside, and as it gets warmer, we have shade cloth that helps drop the temperatures in our grow rooms to keep everything usually at our peak temperature is about 27 Celsius, and we're matching appropriate strains in our grow rooms that like those temperatures. So we're moving from more tropical warm weather species peak summer, and then we get into the colder varieties as we dip into the fall or the spring. Critical infrastructure pieces on this farm, number one would be sterilization, number two would be enough incubation space to handle all the production, and then it becomes the grow rooms. Right now we need more sterilization, and then we'd want to increase this incubation room, but we can't even fill our grow rooms this point fast enough with the amount of production we have. So really it just starts with sterilization and then kind of working your way through to the grow rooms.
So we're at like the height of the summer. It's mid-August and you guys are just cranking.
It's been a really busy year for us, and we are producing about the same amount of mushrooms as we were last year. We're doing about 50 pounds of mushrooms a day, with the goal of doing about 400 pounds of mushrooms a week. But everything's working a lot better this year. I have another year on me. I have a really great team. I have 2 full-time staff that are really dedicated to working hard for me.
Yeah.
So I'm very fortunate that way. And really we're just focused on becoming more efficient so that the business can make more money and we can maybe work less, but
yes,
we're more productive.
Working less, that's always a good thing. Because one thing that's interesting about mushrooms is that the mushrooms, when they're ready to harvest, they have to be harvested at that time, right? So it's a 7-day-a-week business in that sense, is that if there's mushrooms that need to be harvested on a Sunday, they have to be harvested.
Yeah, the thing with mushroom farming is it's a lot of work, and if you miss a step, then you're throwing out mushrooms.
Yeah.
And as it gets warmer, we actually harvest twice a day. So that means there's a morning harvest and a night harvest. And if my guys are going home, that means maybe I'm harvesting between 7 and 8 o'clock at night. Or we plan it so that's the last thing to do for the day. But the point is you have to keep harvesting, making orders, get them in the fridge, cool them down, and then send them out to market or to the restaurants. That's the business.
So a walk-in cooler is quite critical for this then, if you have to harvest each day, right?
That was a huge step last year. Is we got a huge walk-in cooler that fits our needs. I was using freezer chests before that, and now we're able to store easily 200 pounds of mushrooms before I can figure out where it needs to go.
Yeah.
And that gives us a lot more flexibility and really just allows my business to work a lot better.
Yeah. And you've been doing a lot of work to just get this business model out to people. You've been doing this internship program for a solid year now.
Yeah.
Now, and plus this.
The mentorship program, we started basically last year, and we introduced this on your channel.
That's right,
And it just kind of blew up, and it's been really successful. And we used to do an internship program on my farm. That has developed into the mentorship, the 1-week program, and the program's been great. We get a lot of people traveling from all over the world.
All over the world coming here.
And really, it's just a great opportunity for us to meet new people and show them what we're doing.
Yeah, and they go and do this somewhere else. One thing that I see comments on in the videos I've done of you, and the questions that people often bring up, is that people always think that you could stack a mushroom enterprise like this into a farm. And you and I had this conversation before, and I kind of want to get you talking about it, because people think, oh yeah, I want to do what Brian's doing, and then pair that up with a market garden. And you often tell people right when they show up that that's not a good idea.
Yeah, like here's the thing, like both farms are full-time jobs.
Yes.
And it's a lot of work, and I understand the passion to want to get into it all, but my company here, it really needs to be dialed in before I want to even think about doing something else. I could see me doing multiple things, mushrooms and gardening and growing vegetables, this and that, if I had experts that were dedicated
running
to that.
those organizations.
But those guys are going to cost a lot of money too, right?
That's right.
So then you have to be a certain size.
Yeah.
I think both businesses, both farms are really interesting.
Yeah.
I think they have a lot to offer, but what it comes down to is we're growing food, and if the demand is in your market for specific things, that's what you should focus on.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, because a lot of people get into this stuff, whether it's market gardening or mushrooms or raising animals, and they're all wide-eyed and bushy-tailed, and they want to do wide-eyed and bushy-tailed, and they want to do everything. They want to do it all, and that's just a recipe for burnout.
I think if you want to be successful, you specialize.
Yeah.
And for us, we specialize on seasonal gourmet mushrooms, and we grow a lot of unique varieties that aren't available in our market, but it comes down to branding, customer relations, having a good team, and just having a business that works well.
Yeah.
And if I'm burnt out, if I have too many things going on, I'm not going to be good at what I do.
That's right. That's right. So, has anything changed in the last couple of years? I think we met 2 or 3 years ago. And where is it at now? Are your guys' market streams more or less the same and just more of them? Or what's different about what you're marketing now?
So we market essentially the same stuff. We're always growing different varieties. This year we're growing a lot more chestnut mushrooms. We dialed back a little bit on the lion's mane this year because we want to more focus on fast-growing species. So we've really done well with the elm oysters, but also the pearl oysters we grow, we've noticed we can grow all year long. So this year we've kind of capitalized on that.
Interesting.
So for us, it's just fine-tuning everything, and it's also becoming more efficient. So we had a huge purchase this year. We bought a tractor, and that tractor allows us to do a lot of farm work that I wouldn't be able to do otherwise. And that goes with our new sterilization unit that we've been working on. Now, we'll get into that, but the point is that we can use the tractor to pick up our new sterilizers and bring those into the lab. And we're becoming more modular, we're becoming more efficient, and we're able to work with what we have on the farm a lot more effectively.
So let's talk about some of those new pieces of infrastructure that you were just kind of alluding to there then.
Sure. So we've designed a new sterilization unit. One of the biggest bottlenecks that we have in our farm is we have these 55-gallon sterilizers that we can fit 35 bags in each. So our capacity is 245 bags, and we noticed last year as the summer heats up, the bags stay warmer, and we used to be unloading them every 2 days, and we were actually unloading the bags too hot. And then what happens is the plastic of the bags, they lose their rigidity if they're too hot, and if we take them out of the tanks too early, they actually want to suck in unclean air, and the air is really dirty with pollen, lots of smoke this year.
Right.
The air is not very clean, so if we're removing hot bags in unsterile conditions, we're actually introducing molds into our sterilized substrates, and we were having a lot of contamination.
Right.
So the solution to that was to actually redesign our whole sterilizer process. And either we want to have sterilizers in our lab, or we want to bring the sterilizer to the lab. So being in wine country here, I found some wine harvest bins that I noticed were polypropylene plastic, so they're high heat resistant plastic that we could actually convert into a sterilizer bin. But not only that, we can pick them up with the forks of our tractor and move them around the farm. So now we've designed a system where we can attach these new wine bin sterilizers to our boilers. They can detach, and we can bring in new ones the next day and basically do production every day. They can cool off to the side. When they're ready, we bring them into the lab and we inoculate. So now we're not unloading from our sterilizers anymore into bins and then into the lab. We're just bringing the sterilizer right into the lab and inoculating from there. We've literally cut out an hour and a half every day just by doing that process. But then we also cut down on contamination. We improve our propane efficiency for sterilizing, so we save money there. We can do bigger batches. So now we can do 400 bags per run instead of 245. So what that means is when we're inoculating bigger batches at once, which means they're ready to go in the greenhouse sooner, which means our months are more productive because we can get more production into our grow rooms. So you can see we only have 5 greenhouses. We have 2 pads that are empty here, but we don't even need that.
Yeah.
We're focused on making our greenhouses make us more money. And then we put up 6 and 7 greenhouses.
It's a great strategy because you're just maximizing everything and making it as lean as possible with what you have before you go in and add on new stuff.
So for us, it's really just becoming really efficient and then making more production when it makes sense.
Wow. Okay guys, so I mentioned this at the beginning, but what we're gonna do, Brian and I are going to offer you an opportunity to come to Brian's mentorship program and one of my workshops that are in various places around the United States and Canada, and you can choose which one. So what we're gonna do is Brian sells these What the Fungus shirts off
Teespring.
Off Teespring. So what's the we'll put the address in the show notes.
Leave a link in the show notes.
We'll leave a link in the show notes right below the video. You go that, you buy a t-shirt, and you can actually buy as many shirts as you want, and each purchase will enter you into a draw. And so what Brian and I are going to do is take all those and we're going to pull them from a hat. In 2 weeks from this video coming out, we're going to get together again and we're going to pull a random name out of a hat. We're going to mix them all together, and that person will win a mentorship with you and a workshop with me.
Yeah, and really the point of this is if you're not sure if you want to grow mushrooms or you want to start an urban farm like Curtis here, we're going to give you the choice. We're going to get you an opportunity to learn from both of us, and this is such a fun way to do it. The only thing that you need to do is, if you do buy a shirt, I need to see proof of purchase. So you need to send me an email with a screenshot of your proof of purchase, however many shirts you bought, to my email. My email is bcallow@wtfmushrooms.com, and I'm just going to record how many entries you are in for the draw, and then 2 weeks time, like Curtis said, we're going to pick the winner. And everything is for what, 2019?
Yeah, it'll all be for 2019 season, so you got lots of time to plan.
So we're really hoping that someone wants to take the opportunity and learn from both of us.
There you have it. That's the contest. Go to Brian's Teespring in the show notes. I'm also going to add Brian's email in there because it's really important that when you buy the shirt, you take a screenshot just on your computer and email that to Brian. And then we're going to get together. We'll probably do it maybe because you're delivering it to Kelowna. We'll do it at my place.
Sure.
And we'll have a draw. And that winner gets to come and do a mentorship with Brian and gets to come to one of my workshops at some various. There's about 4 or 5 I do in the U.S. So you'll have your pick of one of those.